Let me tell you something that will probably sting a little. No man was born weak. You weren't born lazy. You weren't born broken. You became that way because at some point, you decided that comfort was more important than growth. Weakness isn't a disease that infects you. It's a decision you make every single day when you choose the easy path. And that's the truth most men will never accept. They'd rather believe that the world is unfair, that luck is everything, that success is only for the chosen few. It's easier to point at someone else and say, he's lucky, he had help, he had money. It's harder to look in the mirror and admit, I've been wasting my time. You see, the problem with weak men isn't that they can't change, it's that they don't want to. They find comfort in their misery. They build an identity around being the victim because it excuses their inaction. If you tell yourself long enough that the world is against you, you'll never have to take responsibility for your failures. Weak men love that story because it protects their ego. They don't have to improve, they just have to complain. But here's what they don't understand. Every man who's ever won, every man who's ever built something great, every man who's ever become someone respected, he's suffered, he's struggled, and he's faced the same excuses you use every day. The only difference is he refused to live by them. Weak men want the reward, but not the work. They want the body without the gym, the money without the grind, the respect without the discipline. They talk about goals like their wishes, not plans. They spend their nights scrolling through other people's success stories while doing nothing about their own. And then they wonder why life feels empty. Life feels empty because you've been avoiding the one thing that gives it meaning: struggle. Strength doesn't come from winning. It comes from fighting through losses, from facing failure and choosing not to quit. Weak men quit because they think losing once means they're not good enough. Strong men lose 100 times and still wake up the next day ready for war. Weakness is a mindset. It's not about how much you weigh or how tall you are. It's about the decisions you make when things get difficult. When life hits you, do you get up or do you stay down? When something doesn't go your way, do you find a way around it, or do you start crying about how unfair it is? Every time you run from difficulty, you make yourself weaker. Every time you face it, you grow. Weak men think strength is something you're born with. Strong men know it's something you build. And building strength isn't glamorous. It's not pretty. It's lonely, it's painful, and it's slow. You'll question yourself, you'll doubt yourself, you'll feel like you're wasting your time. But that's the process. You don't transform in comfort. You transform in chaos. Weak men break when life gets hard. Strong men break, rebuild, and return sharper. The weak man looks for escape in distractions, in substances, in excuses. The strong man looks for control of his emotions, his habits, his reactions. Weak men blame the world. Strong men blame themselves and fix it. There's no such thing as a man who's permanently weak. There are only men who choose weakness repeatedly until it becomes who they are. You can change that at any time. You can decide today that you're done making excuses, that you're done acting like life owes you something, because life owes you nothing. You owe yourself everything. Weak men wait for motivation. Strong men move with discipline. Weak men look for shortcuts. Strong men build character. Weak men wait to be saved. Strong men save themselves. The truth is, being weak is easy. That's why most men stay that way. It requires no effort to complain, no effort to quit, no effort to lie to yourself. But the moment you decide to stand up and take responsibility, the moment you stop feeling sorry for yourself and start demanding more from yourself, you begin to separate from the crowd. Weakness fades when accountability enters the room. The man who says, "This is my fault and I will fix it," is already stronger than 90% of people around him. And that's why weakness is a choice, because no one forces you to be average. No one forces you to stay broke. No one forces you to scroll all night instead of learning, building, or training. That's all you. The world doesn't owe you sympathy because you've been choosing comfort for years. But the beauty of this truth is that you can also choose strength. You can choose to stop wasting time, to stop hiding behind excuses, to stop pretending that your problems make you special. You can decide that from this day on, you will do what weak men refuse to do: take control. The man who accepts that weakness is a choice becomes dangerous because he knows he can change it at will. He knows that no matter how many times he's failed, he can rebuild himself. He knows that pain is not the enemy, surrender is. The moment you understand that, everything shifts. You stop fearing hard work. You stop fearing judgment. You stop needing approval. You become the kind of man who doesn't talk about what he's going to do, he does it. And when people see that, when they see that fire, that focus, that discipline, they start to understand the difference between a weak man and a man who decided enough was enough. You know what's destroying men more than anything else today? It's not poverty, it's not failure, it's comfort. Comfort is the most seductive poison in existence because it feels good while it kills you slowly. It doesn't slap you in the face, it doesn't warn you, it doesn't scream, it whispers. It tells you, relax, you've done enough. It tells you, you can start tomorrow. And men believe it. They spend years listening to that soft voice, sitting on their dreams, convincing themselves they're happy, while deep down they know they're wasting their life. Comfort doesn't destroy you overnight. It erodes your fire one lazy day at a time until there's nothing left but regret. Comfort gives you nothing, yet it takes everything. You wake up in a warm bed, your phone in your hand, scrolling through other people's success stories while you tell yourself you'll do something after breakfast. You make a list, you plan, you dream, and then you do nothing. That's comfort. It gives you the illusion of progress without the pain of effort. You tell yourself you're preparing, but you're actually procrastinating. You tell yourself you're thinking, but you're actually hiding. Comfort is clever like that. It disguises weakness as peace and laziness as self-care. You convince yourself that resting is deserved, even though you've done nothing to earn it. The problem with comfort is that it removes urgency. It makes you forget that time is moving. Every second you spend in comfort, someone else is suffering for the life you say you want. While you're sleeping in, another man is training. While you're watching shows, another man is building. While you're playing safe, another man is taking risks that will make him unstoppable in 5 years. And then one day, you'll look up and realize that the people you once called lucky were just the ones who chose discomfort every single day while you were chasing ease. Comfort turns time into your enemy. You can't get back the hours it steals. Men think comfort is happiness. They think a soft life is the dream. They chase comfort like it's success. But there's no joy in a life without struggle. There's no pride in days without challenge. The man who wakes up every day and pushes himself, even when he doesn't feel like it, sleeps better than the man who does nothing all day. Because deep down, we're built for war. We're built to overcome, to endure, to fight, to grow. You strip a man of challenge and you strip him of purpose. Comfort kills not just the body, it kills the spirit. It makes men small. It turns lions into house cats. Weak men defend comfort because they don't understand what it's costing them. They say, I just want to be happy, as if happiness comes from doing nothing. They say, oh, I need balance, as if balance means avoiding pressure. But let me tell you, real peace doesn't come from comfort. Real peace comes from knowing you've earned every second of your life. It comes from the discipline of doing what others won't. Comfort is fake peace. It's temporary satisfaction followed by permanent emptiness. You feel relaxed for a moment, but inside, you hate yourself for not doing more. That's the curse of the comfortable man. He looks calm on the outside, but burns with silent frustration on the inside. Think about this. When was the last time you truly felt alive? It wasn't when you were sitting still. It was when you were chasing something, sweating, fighting, struggling, pushing past your limits. That's when you felt energy. That's when your blood moved, when your mind was sharp, when your heart was full. Discomfort reminds you that you're still alive. Comfort, on the other hand, makes you numb. You stop feeling, stop growing, stop caring. And when a man stops caring, he's already done. Comfort breeds weakness because it removes friction, and friction is what creates growth. When life gets easy, you get soft. When there's no resistance, there's no reason to improve. The gym hurts, but it builds muscle. Discipline hurts, but it builds identity. Sacrifice hurts, but it builds power. Comfort avoids all of it, and in doing so, it builds nothing. That's why men who live easy lives always feel empty. They've never tasted the satisfaction of earning something real. They've been spoon-fed mediocrity their entire lives, and they mistake it for happiness. You've got to understand that every comfort you indulge in comes with a cost. Every time you hit snooze, every time you skip the workout, every time you choose the couch over the grind, you're signing a silent contract with regret. You're agreeing to trade your future strength for momentary ease. You're saying, I'd rather feel good now and hate myself later. And that's what most men do. They build lives around avoiding difficulty, and then they wonder why they never grow. The most dangerous thing about comfort is how normal it feels. It doesn't feel like failure, it feels like safety. It convinces you that you're okay, that you're doing fine, that you're not wasting time. But deep down, you know when you're not living up to your potential, you know when you're coasting, you know when you've stopped pushing yourself. And that quiet guilt you feel, that's your soul begging you to stop settling. That's your potential screaming for you to wake up. If you want to change your life, you have to make discomfort your home. You have to chase what scares you. You have to replace comfort with challenge. Because comfort is the silent killer of ambition, and the only antidote is hunger. Hunger for more, hunger for growth, hunger to become the man you know you're supposed to be. Comfort makes you forget that. It makes you forget that your ancestors fought wars, built civilizations, and conquered worlds while you're here struggling to get out of bed. You owe it to them and to yourself to stop dying in comfort and start living in challenge. We live in a world that claps for weakness. You get applause for complaining, attention for failing, and sympathy for doing nothing. Society has built this strange system where the louder you cry about your struggles, the more people cheer you on. They tell you it's okay, you don't have to try so hard. They tell you, take it easy, you're only human. But the truth is that message is poison. It sounds kind, but it kills your drive. Society rewards weakness with comfort, but life punishes it with mediocrity. You get validation, but you lose progress. You get temporary support, but you stay permanently stuck. They've built a world that praises soft men because soft men are easy to control. Weak men don't question the system. They don't stand up for themselves. They follow trends, obey every command, and live their lives desperate for approval. That's what modern society wants: compliant, emotional, easily manipulated men who never realize how much power they've given away. You can see it everywhere. They tell men not to be too aggressive, not to be too confident, not to be too ambitious. They say that strength is toxic and that masculinity is dangerous. But here's what they'll never tell you: when you remove strength from men, you remove order from society. Weak men don't protect families. Weak men don't build nations. Weak men don't lead, they follow. The modern world has turned weakness into virtue. You get likes for crying on the internet. You get followers for complaining about how hard life is. You get sympathy for being lazy, and you get shamed for being disciplined. The man who grinds in silence is mocked, but the man who blames the world is celebrated. They call strong men arrogant, but they call weak men relatable. And slowly, generation by generation, they're teaching you to be proud of being powerless. They've made it cool to fail without trying. They've made it fashionable to talk about mental struggle, but taboo to talk about personal responsibility. That's the trap. Because while society rewards your weakness, life will not. Life doesn't care about your story. It doesn't care about your trauma or your excuses. It only respects those who fight back. You can cry about how unfair the system is, but that won't change it. You can post about how hard things are, but that won't make them easier. Life doesn't give you a medal for surviving, it gives rewards to those who overcome. The weak man waits for pity, but pity never feeds him. The strong man builds even when no one claps. That's the difference. The world tells you to be yourself while quietly making sure you never become more than average. Because average is safe. Average is predictable. Average doesn't threaten the system. But a man who's mentally strong, emotionally controlled, financially independent, and physically powerful, that man can't be manipulated. And that's why society hates him. Look around you. Weakness is now a brand. Every company, every influencer, every commercial tries to sell it to you. They tell you to indulge, to take breaks, to love yourself no matter how undisciplined you've become. They push comfort as empowerment. They call laziness self-acceptance. They convince you that effort is outdated. and you fall for it because it feels good to hear. But the truth doesn't care about your feelings. The truth is, you can't love yourself if you're constantly betraying your own potential. You can't respect yourself if you always take the easy way out. Weak men crave validation more than progress. They'll do anything to be liked, even if it means losing themselves. They agree with everyone, they follow trends, they change opinions just to fit in. They've traded their backbone for approval, and society rewards that. You'll get claps for being agreeable, but you'll get hated for being real. But that hate, that's where the power is. The man who isn't afraid of being disliked becomes unstoppable. Because once you stop caring about how you're perceived, you start focusing on what you can build. Strong men aren't born, they're forged in resistance. Every time society tells you to be weaker and you refuse, you get stronger. Every time you choose to push when others quit, you separate yourself from the herd. Weak men look for validation from strangers. Strong men build respect from results. Weak men hide behind excuses. Strong men face the mirror and say, "It's on me." Weak men talk about dreams. Strong men wake up and chase them. But society doesn't want that version of you. They want you distracted, emotional, and dependent. They want you numbed by entertainment, drained by indulgence, and too tired to fight for your goals. They want you to believe that ambition is toxic, that masculinity is dangerous, that power is wrong. Because the moment you stop being weak, you stop being controllable. And a man who can't be controlled, that's the biggest threat to this system. Weakness is celebrated only by those who profit from it. Every message telling you to take it easy is another chain around your potential. Every slogan about self-love that ignores discipline is another step toward mediocrity. Society rewards weakness with comfort, but it punishes strength with resistance, and that's exactly why you need to stay strong. Because that resistance is the only proof that you're on the right path. The world doesn't test the weak, it already owns them. It tests the strong because they're the ones capable of change. If you want freedom, stop chasing approval. Stop looking for sympathy. Stop expecting the world to clap for your excuses. Society may celebrate weakness, but only life itself has the power to expose the truth. And in the real world, the weak suffer while the strong build, win, and lead. People think strength is about how much weight you can lift or how loud you can talk. They think it's about big arms, expensive cars, and the ability to intimidate others. But that's not real strength. Real strength starts and ends in the mind. It's not what you show the world, it's what you can control within yourself. The strongest man in the room isn't the one flexing, it's the one who's composed, focused, and unshakable when everything falls apart. Physical power might help you win a fight, but mental power is what helps you win in life. And that's what most men never learn because they chase appearance over substance. They want to look strong instead of becoming strong. Strength isn't something you can fake. You can fake confidence for a while, but when life gets hard, your real mindset shows. When you face loss, betrayal, failure, or uncertainty, that's when you find out who you really are. Weak men collapse under pressure because they've spent their lives avoiding it. Strong men rise under pressure because they've trained their minds to stay calm in the chaos. Every man wants to be confident, but confidence doesn't come from talking, it comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you. That's mindset. That's strength. The world is full of men who look tough, but break easily. They can lift weights, but can't lift their own discipline. They can fight others, but can't fight their own laziness. They talk big online, but live small in real life. That's because their strength is only skin deep. They've never learned the kind of control that comes from mastering the mind. A real man doesn't need to prove he's strong, his actions speak for him. He's not out there screaming for validation. He doesn't care who's watching. He knows his path, he knows his purpose, and he walks it regardless of who agrees. That's strength, quiet, focused, disciplined. Your mindset is your armor. It protects you from doubt, fear, and chaos. The world will always try to test you. It will throw problems, setbacks, disappointments, and betrayals in your face. Most men crumble because they expect life to be easy. Strong men expect the fight. They don't get surprised when things go wrong. They prepare for it. They know that control isn't about what happens, it's about how you respond. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you move in the storm. Weak men panic, strong men adjust. Weak men complain, strong men find a solution. That's mindset. The strongest men aren't fearless, they've just learned to act in spite of fear. They don't deny fear, they dominate it. Fear never disappears. It just becomes background noise to the man who's trained his mind. Every time you choose to move forward when you're afraid, you strengthen that muscle in your brain. Every time you discipline yourself when no one's watching, you sharpen that blade of mental toughness. Most people want motivation. Strong men rely on discipline. Motivation fades, discipline stays. You might not feel like working every day, but a strong mindset doesn't need feelings to function. It needs direction. You have to understand your thoughts create your reality. If your thoughts are weak, your life will be weak. If your thoughts are powerful, your life will follow. Weak men let emotions control their decisions. They get angry, they quit. They get tired, they stop. They get rejected, they give up. But a strong mind doesn't let emotions dictate action. You can feel pain and still move forward. You can feel tired and still perform. You can feel fear and still fight. That's the difference between the man who leads and the man who follows. The follower reacts, the leader controls himself first, and then everything else follows. Strength of mind also means self-awareness. It means knowing your weaknesses and facing them instead of hiding from them. Weak men run from their flaws. Strong men expose them and fix them. If you know you're lazy, you attack it with discipline. If you know you're impulsive, you train patience. If you know you're insecure, you build confidence through competence. Every flaw can be fixed if your mind is right. The mind leads, the body follows. A man who masters his thoughts can master his entire reality. And that mastery doesn't come overnight. You can't read a book or watch a video and suddenly become mentally strong. It takes repetition. It takes pain. It takes moments of doubt where you want to give up, but don't. Every challenge you face is a test, and the test isn't to show you your limits. It's to help you expand them. Weak men think suffering is punishment. Strong men understand its preparation. Every hard moment is a chance to grow thicker skin, a sharper mind, a tougher spirit. You can train your mind the same way you train your body. Start small. Control your reactions when things don't go your way. Keep promises to yourself. Stay calm when everyone else loses their head. Build consistency when no one claps for you. Every small act of control adds another layer of strength. Eventually, you stop being controlled by the world and start controlling your world. That's real strength, not just surviving chaos, but mastering it. So when people talk about strength, remember this: muscles fade, looks fade, but mindset endures. The mind determines the man. The body can be beaten, but the mind can be unbreakable. You can strip a strong man of everything, and he'll still find a way to rise because his strength isn't in what he owns, it's in what he believes. That's the kind of strength no one can take from you. That's the kind of strength that builds empires, protects families, and inspires generations. That's the strength every man should chase, the kind that starts in the mind and changes everything around it. Every man wants to be powerful, but no one wants to pay the price. Everyone talks about wanting success, respect, wealth, strength, dominance, but when pain arrives, they run. They think pain is a punishment, but it's not. Pain is the tuition fee for greatness. It's the currency every strong man pays. You cannot rise without it. You cannot evolve without it. You cannot earn power without walking through suffering. That's the law of life. The universe doesn't hand out power for free. It tests you first. It breaks you down to see if you're worthy of being built back up stronger. Weak men avoid that process. Strong men embrace it. Pain is the only truth that doesn't lie. You can fake happiness. You can fake confidence. You can fake success for a while. But when pain hits, your mask comes off. It shows who you really are. When you're tired, when you're broke, when you're betrayed, when you've lost, that's when the real you steps forward. Weak men see that moment as the end. Strong men see it as the beginning. Every time life knocks you down, it's asking a question: how badly do you want it? Most men answer that question with surrender. The few who keep standing, the few who keep fighting, they're the ones who rise. Pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It's the fire that burns away everything fake inside you. Every hardship you face is shaping you, refining you, building your tolerance, your focus, your strength. But you can't learn from pain if you keep running from it. Weak men spend their entire lives avoiding discomfort, chasing pleasure, and escaping anything that hurts. They drown themselves in distractions because they don't want to face reality. But the truth is, the more you hide from pain, the weaker you become. The more you endure pain, the stronger you get. Every rep in the gym hurts. Every hour of discipline hurts. Every failure hurts. But that hurt is building something. It's carving out the version of you that's powerful enough to handle the success you say you want. The reason most men never become powerful is because they quit too early. They quit right when it starts to matter. They think if something feels uncomfortable, it's a sign to stop. But pain is not a stop sign, it's a signal that growth is happening. When you push past the point where others give up, you enter the zone where transformation begins. That's where real men are made. That's where confidence is forged. That's where power starts to build quietly in the background while everyone else is quitting. You have to understand power isn't given, it's earned through suffering. The man who has everything easy never develops resilience. He may look successful, but his foundation is fragile. One setback and he falls apart. But the man who has been through pain, who has lost, who has rebuilt himself over and over, that man is unshakable. He's dangerous because he's already seen the worst and survived it. You can't threaten a man who has made peace with pain. You can't control a man who isn't afraid to suffer for what he believes in. Pain also exposes your values. It shows you what truly matters. When everything is stripped away, you realize what's worth fighting for and what isn't. Pain brings clarity. It shows you who your real friends are, what your real goals are, and how much you're truly willing to endure to achieve them. Most men fold because their desire is weak. They talk about wanting success, but the moment it costs them comfort, they walk away. Strong men understand that pain is the filter. It separates those who wish from those who work. Every powerful man you admire has scars. Some visible, some invisible. Those scars aren't signs of weakness, they're proof of endurance. Pain teaches you humility. It teaches you gratitude. It teaches you respect for effort. You stop underestimating others because you've walked through the fire yourself. You start appreciating small victories because you know what it took to earn them. You start moving with calm confidence because pain has already taught you what fear feels like, and you learn to function through it. That's the kind of power pain gives. It's not loud or flashy. It's steady, grounded, and immovable. Pain also keeps you disciplined. When you've suffered for your goals, you don't throw them away easily. The man who's never suffered doesn't value success. He gets it and wastes it. But the man who bled for it protects it. He knows what it cost him. He respects the process because he paid for it with sleepless nights, failures, heartbreaks, and sacrifices. Pain gives meaning to achievement. Without it, victory feels empty. And that's why avoiding pain is the biggest mistake you can make. Every time you dodge something hard, you rob yourself of the chance to evolve. You rob yourself of wisdom, toughness, maturity. Life will test you regardless. You can't escape that. The only choice you have is whether to face the test willingly or be crushed by it unwillingly. Weak men get destroyed by pain because they never built tolerance for it. Strong men thrive in it because they've trained for it. They've learned to turn pain into fuel. They take the energy from suffering and redirect it into discipline, focus, and hunger. If you want to rise, you have to make peace with pain. You have to stop seeing it as an enemy and start seeing it as the path. Every ounce of suffering you endure is buying you something: mental strength, emotional control, character, depth. Those are things you can't fake. You can't buy them. You can't inherit them. You earn them in silence while you're bleeding, grinding, failing, and pushing through. Pain builds men the way fire forges steel. Without the heat, the metal stays soft. Without pain, the man stays weak. That's why the strongest men don't avoid pain, they invite it. They know every challenge, every heartbreak, every setback is a chance to grow sharper, colder, harder, smarter. Power doesn't come from what you escape, it comes from what you endure. And once you understand that, once you stop running and start embracing the pain that life throws at you, you'll realize it's not trying to break you, it's trying to prepare you for something greater. The world doesn't need more comfortable men. It doesn't need more talkers, more complainers, or more people searching for the easy route. What this world needs desperately is strong men. Men who don't crumble under pressure, who don't run when things get hard, who don't make excuses when life gets tough. The rise of the strong man isn't about muscles or money. It's about mindset. It's about the ability to stand tall when everything around you is falling apart. It's about being dependable when others panic. It's about control over your emotions, your environment, your choices, and your destiny. Weak men think power is something you gain when life gets easier. Strong men understand that power is what you build when life gets harder. Every challenge, every obstacle, every heartbreak is an opportunity to rise. Most men don't rise because they've been trained to stay down. Society rewards softness. It tells men to be passive, to stay comfortable, to avoid confrontation, to suppress their masculine drive. But that conditioning is poison. It's designed to create weak men, men who are easy to manipulate, easy to control, and easy to replace. Strong men break that conditioning. They reject the idea that being soft equals being good. They know strength isn't toxic, weakness is. Because weak men don't just destroy themselves, they destroy everything around them. The rise of a strong man begins when he stops blaming the world and starts taking responsibility. When he looks in the mirror and says, "Everything in my life is my fault." That's not self-hate, that's self-awareness. The moment you take ownership of your pain, your failures, your losses, that's when transformation begins. Weak men wait for someone to save them. Strong men save themselves. Weak men cry about the system. Strong men learn how to play the system, how to win within it, how to dominate regardless of circumstances. Because the truth is, no one's coming to help you. No one's coming to fix your life. You're alone in this fight, and that's what makes victory meaningful. Strength is not built in comfort, it's built in chaos. You become powerful when you learn how to stay calm in storms that make others break. You become strong when you can think clearly while everyone else is losing control. The strong man isn't emotionless, he feels everything deeply. But he doesn't let those emotions control him. He channels them. He uses pain as fuel, anger as energy, discipline as armor. The strong man is forged through repetition, consistency, and sacrifice. He doesn't need validation because he's too busy earning results. The rise of the strong man is the return of accountability. It's the realization that no one owes you anything. You owe yourself. You owe yourself the body you want, the discipline you admire, the mindset you respect. Weak men think in terms of luck. Strong men think in terms of cause and effect. They know that what you plant today, you harvest later. They understand the law of effort, that every rep, every grind, every sleepless night adds up. And while everyone else is making excuses, the strong man is building himself in silence. But here's what most people don't understand. Strength isn't about domination over others. It's about domination over self. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. You can't protect your family, your values, or your mission if you're enslaved by your impulses. A strong man doesn't need to prove he's powerful. He is power. You see it in his discipline, in his eyes, in the way he carries himself. You see it in how he reacts under pressure, calm, measured, unshaken. That's not arrogance, that's control. Weak men want recognition before they've earned it. Strong men earn it before they even speak. They let their results make the noise. They don't need to brag because their success is visible in their actions. Weak men perform for attention. Strong men perform for legacy. Every decision they make is about becoming the man they can respect. They live with intention, not emotion. And that's why society fears strong men, because you can't manipulate a man who has control over himself. You can't sell lies to someone who's mentally fortified. The rise of the strong man threatens the systems built on weakness. When men become strong, they stop being victims. They stop being distracted. They stop consuming garbage and start creating value. Strong men build families, empires, communities. They create order in chaos. That's why history always turns back to strength when times fall apart. The strong man doesn't complain about the world being unfair, he adapts. He doesn't wish for easier times, he trains to handle harder ones. He doesn't ask for mercy, he earns respect. The strong man knows that power doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being capable. The world doesn't respect weakness. It doesn't care about your excuses, your feelings, or your intentions. It respects results, resilience, and resolve. That's why the rise of the strong man isn't optional, it's necessary. Because without strong men, everything collapses. Families collapse, societies collapse. morality collapses. So the rise of the strong man is a call to arms, not with weapons, but with willpower. It's about waking up every day with purpose. It's about choosing discipline when comfort calls. It's about pushing forward when your body screams stop. It's about staying true to your principles even when you stand alone. Strength isn't built in public. It's built in private moments of silence when no one's watching and you decide to keep going anyway. The rise of the strong man is the rebirth of self-mastery. It's the moment you realize you don't need anyone's permission to become great. It's when you decide to stop living like a victim and start living like a creator. It's when you replace excuses with execution. The strong man doesn't wait for opportunities, he creates them. He doesn't seek approval. He commands respect through consistency. He doesn't live for pleasure, he lives for purpose. And as he rises, he lifts others by example. His strength becomes a standard. His discipline becomes inspiration. His journey becomes proof that no matter where you start, you can become something formidable if you're willing to face the pain, embrace the struggle, and carry the weight most men avoid. Because when strong men rise, the world becomes better. When strong men lead, others follow. When strong men speak, people listen. And when strong men exist, weakness has no place left to hide. At the end of the day, this entire message, every word, every lesson, every truth comes down to one thing: the world is testing you. Every struggle, every failure, every ounce of pain you felt wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to reveal what kind of man you really are. Weak men break under pressure because they've built their lives on comfort. Strong men rise because they've built theirs on purpose. You don't grow in the easy moments, you grow in the moments that nearly break you. The painful truth about weak men is that they choose weakness. They choose comfort over challenge, excuses over execution, distraction over discipline. But strength, real strength, is also a choice. It's a decision you make every single day when you wake up and say, no matter how hard it gets, I will not quit. That mindset is what separates the average from the extraordinary. The difference between weak and strong isn't talent, luck, or intelligence, it's endurance. It's the refusal to stay down when life knocks you flat. Strong men are not born, they're built through pain, repetition, and relentless effort. They carry scars not as reminders of suffering, but as proof of survival. They understand that pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Every moment of discomfort, every betrayal, every failure was training you to become someone unstoppable. That's the truth weak men will never understand. They want power without paying the price, results without sacrifice, and respect without earning it. But strength doesn't work that way. You have to earn your place. You have to fight for it. The rise of strong men isn't about domination, it's about restoration. It's about bringing back honor, courage, and discipline into a world that has forgotten them. The world doesn't need more followers. It needs men who can lead, protect, and inspire. Men who can stand tall in chaos, who can think when others panic, who can hold the line when everyone else walks away. That's what being a strong man means: not being loud, but being solid, not being arrogant, but being unshakable. So if you take anything from this, let it be this truth: no one's coming to save you. The rescue you're waiting for is never going to arrive. The only man who can save your life is the one staring back at you in the mirror. You can stay where you are, blaming the world, or you can stand up, take control, and become the man you were meant to be. The pain you're running from is the key to your power. The discipline you're avoiding is the path to your freedom. The struggle you fear is the process that will define you. The world will always test you, but if you choose to rise, to harden your mind, to build your strength and master yourself, then you'll no longer be a victim of life. You'll be the architect of it. Weak men talk about change. Strong men become the change. And once you make that shift, once you stop running and start rising, nothing, no pain, no loss, no obstacle will ever have the power to break you again.